Hey guys, so today we're going to be picking up where we left off in the last video where I was going through my face powders, primers, and setting sprays. So today is going to be the primer and setting spray part. I also want to give a huge thank you and welcome to everyone that is new to my channel. It really means a lot to me to see the support, whether you just found me through my decluttering series or you found me through Jessica or Jam Beauty 89, because I know she gave me a really sweet shout out. So Jessica, if you're watching, I want to give you another huge thank you. I really appreciate the love and support so much. So yeah, I was really touched by that. But anyways, all corniness aside, let's get down to business and talk about these primers and setting sprays. So the first primer that I have is the J1 Jelly Pack Primer, and I've talked about this guy countless times on my channel. I'm sure a lot of you are like, shut up already about this primer. It's just a really interesting primer. It's actually a K-beauty primer. I think the J1 brand was created by a Korean actress, if I'm not mistaken. And all of her products are known for being just really healthy and good for the skin on top of having like really good performance. That is what it looks like. So it kind of comes out like a clear, sort of thick jelly texture. But what I love about this primer is that as it dries up, it kind of gets a little bit tacky. So for all you like long wear foundation lovers or full coverage people like myself, this is a really amazing primer because it's really nice and thick. It just has a good kind of like tacky, it's not super sticky and gross feeling. It's just kind of nice and tacky to really kind of like grip your foundation all day long. Plus the J1 brand is packed with a ton of like really great healthy skin ingredients and like anti-aging ingredients. So it's not only good for helping your foundation last longer, but it's also really good for your skin. Obviously, I'm not letting this baby go. This one I'm a little bit embarrassed about. I remember that last year I took this out, and I feel like I'm having deja vu right now. I remember this time last year when I was doing my first decluttering, I took this guy out and I was like, wow, I had no idea that I own this. I feel the exact same way. In 1 year, I don't think I ever even opened this guy. It's the Too Faced Primed and Poreless Primer. I don't think that I dislike it. I just think that for some reason, my eyes just skip over it. So this is going directly in my vanity so that I can start using it up. I have a MAC Fix Plus spray. This is in the rose scented one. I actually also have the cucumber as well, but I have no idea where it is. It's probably somewhere in my skincare drawer, but I'm going to continue to hold on to this guy because it's still almost all the way full. I kind of regret getting a scented one though. The cucumber one I don't mind so much, but the rose scent can be a little bit overpowering at times. So I kind of wish I had just gotten one regular one. I have two of these NYX primers, the Pore Filler and the Shine Killer, and I feel like I've had these for a really long time, and I'm not even sure if I want to hold on to these, so I'm just gonna give them a little swatch. And I actually really want to hold on to the Pore Filler one. I love these types of primers that are a little bit like whipped and pillowy in texture. I feel like they do the best job at kind of filling in lines and pores. So this guy I will continue to hold on to. The NYX Shine Killer, on the other hand, I think I have reached for this guy a number of times, and every time I do, I don't reach for it again. So I don't think that it's necessarily a bad primer. It does have that really kind of slippery silicone feel. It kind of feels like the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer, just a little bit more dense. I think I'm just gonna let this guy go, only because I never really use it. I have the Givenchy Mr. Matte Primer. This is also kind of like the NYX Shine Killer, but what I like about this one is that it is a silicone feeling primer, but it almost has a little bit of a cloudy type of look to it. So it's really ultra mattifying. It almost feels like a combination of these two together because it has that matte finish, but it also feels kind of like pillowy, and I keep wanting to say cloudy, but cloudy does not have a texture. Hopefully you guys know what I mean, but it's like kind of pillowy and whipped feeling. So it really feels like it's creating a nice dense base on my skin rather than just like sinking in and doing nothing. Next, I have the e.l.f. HD Mattifying Balm, and I think I did a review on this a long time ago on my channel. If I can find it, I'll link it down below if you kind of want to see what it looks like in action, but it obviously looks really disgusting and beat up because I have given it a lot of love, and I think this is the second or third one that I've purchased. One thing to note about these is that you can run through them very quickly. Like I could easily hit pan on one of these in like 3 weeks. And the concept of this is very similar to the Mally Beauty like balm, if you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't know the name of it, but it's one of her like really famous products where it's a mattifying balm you can use either underneath your foundation or over top your foundation to kind of mattify your skin throughout the day. It kind of has like a Crisco-like texture, which may not sound all that appealing to some people, but if you have really greasy, super oily skin, sometimes like a really thick primer is like the only thing that's really going to mattify it out, but you can kind of see it takes a little bit of practice to work with, but it really does mattify the skin. Next is this Urban Decay B6 Vitamin Infused Complexion Prep Spray. I just shared this in a recent haul, which is why it's still in the box, so obviously I'm holding on to it, but this is one of my all-time favorite complexion sprays. It's one of the only sprays I've ever used where I actually see an immediate difference in my skin, so this is like my baby, and I will continue to hold on to that guy. If any of you remember like the OG days of YouTube, you'll remember when this guy was like trending as a primer. It is the Monistat Chafing Relief Powder Gel, and yes, it's normally used for the bikini line, but I remember that for a long time this was like the primer to use way before Nivea men like shave balm was around, before any of those weird like primer hacks were around. I feel like this guy was the OG primer hack. It's not super slippery. It's almost a little bit thicker than like our typical silicone primer, but it does do a good job of providing a really nice base for foundation. It kind of dries down matte, so it's good for mattifying the skin. Might be weird to put a bikini line product on your face, but hey, if it works, I'm all about it. This I have to let go of. It's the Korres mattifying primer. I almost completely used this guy up, and then I think I threw it in a drawer and forgot about it, but I've had it for way too long, and I think the scent of it has kind of altered, which usually means a product has expired. Yeah, it smells like pure poison. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this guy go. I actually did enjoy it. It's a very unusual mattifying primer where it's not like a typical kind of like thick silicone-y looking primer. It's actually more like a moisturizer, but it does prime the skin really nicely. Plus it's like a flesh tone, which I always love primers that come in some kind of flesh tone color, because I always like that little bit of extra coverage, even if it's just in my mind that I'm getting a little bit of extra coverage. I always really like that in a primer. I'm gonna hold on to the Sonia Kashuk Perfect Transparent Mattifying Primer. I have liked this for a long time. It's kind of another one of those typical silicone ones, but this one is extremely lightweight. This one I'm gonna go ahead and just try to use up. It's about 50% done. This is the FNR Advanced Plus Flawless Effects Skincare Mattifying Emulsion. Just looking at my primers, I already have so many other ones to get through, and I don't know, I feel like I might as well just give this one away. I think I got it like in an Ipsy bag or Birchbox or something like that, but I just have too many others that I need to get through, so I'm just gonna give that away to a friend. Next, I have my Smashbox Primer Water, which you can see is down to like maybe the last 1 or 2 uses. So this guy will probably be in an empty soon. It's one of my all-time favorite primers. This doesn't belong in here, but I'm holding on to it. It's just Mederma. It's for scars, so I do like using this like on my acne scars and stuff like that. It's in the wrong drawer, but I'm holding on to it. This is my everyday primer. It's the Rimmel Fix and Perfect Pro. I kind of switch between this one and the purple one. I don't really notice much of a difference between like the pro version and the regular version, but I love this primer. I think it's one of my all-time favorite drugstore primers because it actually comes out a little bit like a lotion, which I don't typically like because I do have texture and enlarged pores, but I actually multi-prime my skin, meaning that I use like, come on, you're in there. I use this guy all the time. It's probably almost done. Kind of comes out like a lotion like this. And then as you rub it in, it does have a little bit of that sticky or tacky finish to it, so it's really great for keeping my foundation on longer. This is the Bare Minerals Primetime Oil Control Foundation Primer, and I think I am gonna go ahead and let this one go. Not to say that it didn't work, it's just one of those primers that I notice I always take out to use and then I never keep using it. This guy I'm actually kind of proud of myself. It's the L'Oreal Magic Perfecting Base. I remember talking about this in last year's Declutter about how I wanted to use it a little bit more, and I actually have used it quite frequently. It may not look like I have, but I've used this quite a few times and I really like it. It's this really pretty like baby pink kind of moussey texture. But this is so good for enlarged pores, texture, fine lines. Like I said, I do like multi-prime my skin, and this is one of the ones I'll use like especially on my nose area. This guy is kind of like a hidden gem to me. I never hear people talking about it, but it does such a good job. This one I will hold on to. I have the Scandinavia No More Shine Makeup Finish Matte Hold Onto Oily Skin Spray. There's at least half of it still in there, so I will continue to use that up, as well as the Evian facial spray. I will use this just for those days I want to like calm my skin down. Sometimes I'll even just spray this on my face like first thing when I get up before I even wash my face, just to give my skin a little bit of hydration. I do the same thing with the vitamin B6 spray. Obviously this is a little bit stronger than this, which is essentially just, I think, like mineral water or something. Yeah, it's just kind of mineral water in a can. It's just kind of like a good refreshing spray to have around, and it's super gentle too. This I'm gonna let go of. It's the X Out Shine Control Oil-Free Primer. I think I got this in an Ipsy bag probably over a year ago, because it's been about a year since I subscribed to Ipsy, to be honest. I stopped subscribing to them just because I wasn't really happy with anything I was getting, and this is one of the last products I think I got from Ipsy. I don't even think I ever even really tried it. I just have too many other primers to get through. I have two of these primers by Mimibox, which I love. This is the Silky Primer and the Hydrating Primer. I love the both of these. This is great for those days when I have really dry skin. It's super hydrating, and I love how like milky it looks. It kind of reminds me of the Hourglass primer in terms of how it looks, like the Mineral Veil. And it just looks like that. So it almost kind of rubs in like a lotion, but it just feels super nourishing on the skin. And then the Silky Primer is actually more of just like a silicone primer. You can see it has a little bit of sparkle in there. I'm not sure if it's showing up on camera, but there's tiny little flecks of sparkles in there, which initially kind of freaked me out because I thought it would just turn my face into a disco ball, but it actually doesn't show up at all on the skin. I think of it more as kind of like little light reflectors, but it just comes out like a regular kind of mattifying silicone primer. So really love this guy as well, and will continue to hold on to it. This I have not even touched yet. It's the Botanic Farm Soft Cover Pore Balm Primer. I just shared this in a haul, but it's really unique in that it's a primer, but it's in a like very almost dense balm formula. So I haven't really tried it on my face yet. I might save it for an upcoming video where I want to try out like a bunch of different K-beauty products at once. Next, I have this Cover FX Clear Prep FX Matte Foundation Primer and Anti-Acne Treatment Gel. And this I think I am going to finally let go of. I have had it for at least 3 years now, and it's nothing bad about it. I've actually used, I think, a good amount of this, but I remember purchasing this when my acne was really, really bad, and I was trying to use as many products as I could that had like anti-acne ingredients in it. And I just feel like if I hold on to too many primers, I almost start to get like anxiety about trying to use everything up. So if I don't feel like it's a must-have, I'm gonna try to let go of it. It's a really good one to check out if you have oily skin and acne prone skin, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and let it go. This is another all-time favorite. It's another Mimibox primer, but this is a really good dupe if you love the Benefit Professional, which I love. That's one of my all-time favorites, but you'll notice it's not anywhere in here because I haven't repurchased it since getting this guy. This is the Mimi Eye Matte Primer. You can see it looks very similar to the Benefit Professional in that it's that kind of like flesh tone. It's very thick and pillowy and almost mousse-like, but this to me is just an amazing dupe for the Benefit Professional. It pretty much does the exact same thing, and I think it's at a cheaper price point as well. So yeah, I really love this guy and will continue to hold on to it. This is the Tarte Clean Slate Flawless Primer. This is their 12-hour brightening primer. And because I have an oily skin type, usually like dewy primers look so oily and greasy on my face, but this is an exception. It gives my skin a little bit of glow and a radiance without looking oily. This one I'm gonna let go of. It's a mini Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. I'm not a huge fan of any Smashbox primers. I don't know why, they just don't work for my skin. I feel like they make me look really greasy, and I think this was a little sample I got in some kind of subscription box. This one I'm gonna go ahead and give away. I have a mini of the Defense Refresh Setting Mist with Rosemary. This is from Supergoop. But it's a really interesting setting mist that has SPF in it actually, so it is very unique. I did try it for the first time I think a few weeks ago, and I like it. It's just that the rosemary scent in there is really, really strong. So it's almost a little bit nauseating when you first spray it on your face. I love the scent of rosemary, don't get me wrong, but I feel like on my face, it's a little abrasive. So I'll hold on to it and use it up purely because I love that it has SPF in there. And then this last guy I'll also hold on to. It's just a little mini Radiant Cream Primer. I think this came in my Glossy Box, which I'm brand new to Glossy Box. I just started subscribing, I think in December. It was a Christmas gift from my mom. Never heard of this brand or tried anything from them, so this I'll hold on to as well. Okay, so here are the primers and setting sprays that I'm going to be holding on to. And then here's a little overview of everything I am letting go of. Okay guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so that I know. And if you're new to my channel, definitely don't forget to subscribe. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.